Good morning. Here's the headline at this hour. A U.S. National Security Council spokesman says the White House has canceled U.S. President Barack Obama's meeting with President Rodrigo Duterte. CNN's Andrew Stevens has details from Vientiane.
Hello, CNN Philippines. I'm Andrew Stevens in the NTN. Well, following those very strong comments from the Philippines president directed at President Obama, the US has cancelled a bilateral meeting between the leaders of the Philippines and the US. Perhaps not expected. President Obama making it very clear at a press conference at the end of the G20 in China that if he was going to have any sort of meeting with President Duterte, it had to be positive and it had to be constructive. Something had to come out of it. And following the warning from President Duterte not to raise it and the criticism of the US by the President, the US has decided that they would prefer not to engage at all at the moment. Instead, the US President will meet with the South Korean President, Park Geun-hye, to talk about relations between the two. Mr. Obama will also be giving a speech today here in Vientiane to the people of Laos. The US is looking at cementing ties with Laos, and also the US is personally interested in making sure that the US gives more to the de-mining, to getting rid of unexploded ordnance, which has been left since the secret war over Laos ended back in 1973. But there is likely that there will be at least some meeting perhaps in the corridors of power here at Vientiane as the full ASEAN meeting gets underway in the next couple of days, where both President Duterte and President Obama will be in attendance. It'll certainly be interesting to see just how they greet each other then. Back to you, CNN Philippines.
In a rare move, U.S. President Barack Obama cancels a meeting with his Philippine counterpart after Rodrigo Duterte threatens to curse at him. The two leaders were set to meet in Laos on Tuesday, September 6th during the East Asia Summit. And on the list of talking points between them were human rights concerns, specifically reports of extrajudicial killings in Duterte's war on drugs. On Monday, before he left for the summit, Duterte made it clear to reporters that he wouldn't stand to be lectured by the U.S. president, saying, quote, "I am a president of a sovereign state, and we have long ceased to be a colony of the United States." He added, "Putang ina, I will swear at you," in that forum, using the Tagalog phrase for son of an expletive. Following the comments, Obama initially called Duterte a colorful guy, but seemed to question whether speaking with the Philippine president would be productive. Early Tuesday, National Security Council spokesman Ned Price told reporters that the meeting was off. For Newsbeat Social, I'm Molly Real.
Good afternoon, sir. Jerome Morales from Reuters News. Sir, there have been concerns on extrajudicial killing, sir, and you will meet leaders. Any line of communication that we have prepared to address this issue in front of our other foreign leaders?
Extrajudicial killing?
Yes, human rights.
To whom shall I address myself to? And who will be asking the questions? May I know?
Like Obama, sir? Like Obama.
You know, the Philippines is not a vassal state. We have long ceased to be a colony of the United States. Alam mo, marami dyan mga sa kolumnista, they look upon Obama and the United States as if we are the lapdogs of this country. I do not respond to anybody but to the people of the Republic of the Philippines. Wala akong pakialam sa kanya. Who is he? When as a matter of fact, at the turn of the century, before the Americans left the Philippines in the pacification campaign of the Moro in this island, there were about 6 million ang population ng Moro. How many died? 600. If you can answer that question and give the apology, I will answer him. I am not beholden to anybody. May mga kolumnista dyan na wait until he meets. Who is he? No, I am a president of a sovereign state, and we have long ceased to be a colony. I do not have any master except the Filipino people. Nobody but nobody. You must be respectful. Do not just throw away questions and statements. Putang ina, mumurahin kita dyan sa forum na yan. Mga ganun na yun. Tell that to everybody. Ito mga kolumnista, para ba akong tinatakot? Anak ka na. Umalis kayo dyan sa Pilipinas. Pumunta kayo doon sa Amerika. You write columns, you're the lapdogs of this American. Who is it to confront me? As a matter of fact, he has to America has one too many to answer for the misdeeds in this country. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa tayo nakatigil ng apology niyan. That is the reason why Mindanao continues to boil. Sabi mo, that was the last century. Yang wounds na yan from generation to generation. As a matter of fact, we inherited this problem from the United States. Why? Because they invaded this country and made us their subjugated people. Everybody has a terrible record of extrajudicial killing. Why make an issue about fighting crime? Nahingi na niya maubos-ubos yan sa Mexico border niya. Look at the human rights of America along that line. The way how they treat the migrants there. Masyado kayong believe sa Amerika. Bumilib kayo dito sa atin, Amerika. Siya ang mag-explain sa akin kung bakit ganyong extrajudicial killing nila. Can he explain the 600,000 Moro massacred in this island? Do you want to see the pictures? Maybe I'll ask him. I'll make it public. We have a recorded history of that sordid period of our national life. Nobody but nobody can just... Sino ka? Yung mga American Indians mo, sa sino lang, inubos mo eh. Oh, what about the rights of those guys who died in the past? Is it because it's just the past tense, we do not answer for the present tense? You must be kidding. Stop joking yourself. Kayong mga sobra ka-believe diyang, who is you, Obama, to ask me that? I'll tell him, who are you? Tell him that. Telegraph mo ngayon. Hindi ako punta dito na pagkaulila dyan sa mga. We have long been a republic. I do not kneel down before anybody else except the Filipino in Quiapo walking in misery and in extreme poverty and hunger. Hindi kayo maghinto na sa droga. The campaign against drug will continue. Maraming mamatay dyan. Plenty will be killed until the last pusher is out of the streets. Until the drug manufacturer is killed, we will continue, and I will continue. And I don't give a shit about anybody observing my behavior. Siguro mag-believe kayo dyan. Yung mga kulong nagbasa, Sus Mariusep. Pagkalapdog ng mga pretending to be the conscience of this.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask you about tomorrow, the next leg of your trip a little bit. And tomorrow you're going to be meeting for the first time with President Duterte. And he's a leader whose war on drugs has led to the death of about 2,400 people in just the last 2 months since he took office. And today he said in a very colorful way that
No, I am a president of a sovereign state. and we have long ceased to be a colony. I do not have any master except the Filipino people. Nobody but nobody. You must be respectful. Do not just throw away questions and statements. Putang ina, mumurahin kita dyan sa forum na yan.
That you better not bring this up, and I'm wondering, are you committed to raising this with President Duterte, and are you concerned that meeting him legitimizes his approach on this issue?
Well, I just came out of a long day of meetings, so I just heard about some of this, but I have seen some of those colorful statements in the past, and so clearly he's a colorful guy. And what I've instructed my team to do is to talk to their Philippine counterparts to find out, is this in fact a time where we can have some constructive, productive conversations? Obviously, the Filipino people are some of our closest friends and allies, and the Philippines is a treaty ally of ours. But I always want to make sure that if I'm having a meeting that it's actually productive and we're getting something done. We recognize the significant burden that the drug trade plays not just in the Philippines but around the world, and fighting narco trafficking is tough. But we will always assert the need to have due process and to engage in that fight against drugs in a way that's consistent with basic international norms. And so undoubtedly, if and when we have a meeting, that this is something that's going to be brought up. And my expectation, my hope is that it could be dealt with constructively. But I'll have my team discuss this. I've got a whole bunch of folks that I'm going to be meeting with over the course of the next several days. And as I said, historically, our relationship with the Philippines is one of our most important, and my relationship with the Philippine people has been extraordinarily warm and productive. So I expect that will continue, but I want to make sure that the setting is right and the timing is right for us to have the best conversation possible. Well, as I said, I'm going to just make an assessment. I just got out of these meetings. What is certainly true is that the issues of how we approach fighting crime and drug trafficking is a serious one for all of us, and we've got to do it the right way.
President Duterte today affirmed that he continues to value the alliance with the United States, noting that both our countries share common goals in their pursuit of the war against drugs, terrorists, crime, and poverty. He also thanked President Obama for the United States' firm support for the Philippines during the G20, where President Obama emphasized the importance for China to abide by its obligations under international law and underscored the United States' unwavering commitment to the security of its treaty allies. Both delegations, however, have agreed that in the light of the issues that still need to be worked on, the bilateral meeting between the two nations will be postponed to a later date. President Duterte explained that the press reports that the President, Obama, would lecture him on extrajudicial killings led to his strong comments, which in turn elicited concern. He regrets that his remarks to the press have caused much controversy. While asserting the intent to chart an independent foreign policy and promote closer ties with all nations, he expressed his deep regret, deep regard, and affinity for President Obama and for the enduring partnership between our nations. The President looks forward to ironing out differences arising out of the national priorities and perceptions and working in mutually responsible ways for both countries. Duterte stressed that in securing and preserving the rights and liberties of our people, it is imperative that the fight against illegal drugs, terrorists, crimes, and poverty must be won in order to preserve the principle and values upon which our democratic way of life is anchored.